All right, second slate of game twos is done. Let's talk about it. Denver picks up the win, goes on to take a 2-0 series lead. Nobody is surprised. The only thing that was really, honestly, probably surprising about that game is that the Timberwolves were able to kind of climb out of that hole that they dug themselves and make it a close game for a little bit there. But Jokic, in the middle of the third quarter, was able to just take over for a couple possessions. And, I mean, Jamal Murray played well. He looks like Jamal Murray again. Even Michael Porter Jr. playing really well. You could really tell how much KCP and Bruce Brown have helped. Those acquisitions have helped Denver's perimeter defense. Aaron Gordon is just a much better basketball player now than he was earlier in his career. And, yeah, like I said, nobody's really surprised that Denver's up 2-0. Shout out Anthony Edwards for his 41 points on 60-some-odd% shooting. Karl-Anthony Towns was a no-show. I don't even think Karl-Anthony Towns had 15 points last night. And, you know, if you're supposed to be the number one guy on the Timberwolves, you're supposed to be the best player. You know, you gotta do more than, was it 10 points, 12 rebounds? You got to do more than 10 and 12. Only 3 made field goals in the entire game. It seemed like the Minnesota Timberwolves just continue to play. Every time they get to the postseason, it seems like they continue to play all of these games despite Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't really think Karl-Anthony Towns helps Minnesota win in these particular environments. And you know, I love Cat, and you know, I don't want to smash Cat too much. I don't want to, you know, throw dirt on his name too much. But it's just like the dude is just not. He's just not a number one guy. He just does not affect the game the way that a number one superstar should, and it's apparent, but it's especially apparent in the playoffs. Like, it really jumps off the screen in the playoffs. You know, he just does not do well being the focal point of playoff defenses. Like I said, Minnesota will probably get rocked a couple more times this series. I fully anticipate Denver to finish the series in 4 games. I was gonna give Minnesota a game, but I think that was probably Minnesota's best. That was probably their best shot last night. Again, just being able to, you know, almost dig themselves out of a hole. Well, I mean, they did dig themselves out the hole, but, you know, just ultimately not being able to win the game. Yeah, that was probably their best shot right there, you know. So yeah, I mean, Denver is gonna advance. These next 2 games is, you know, as long as Denver takes care of business, it should be relatively easy for Denver to move on. The Heat Bucks game was like, I don't understand why the Heat just thought that, like, they didn't have to guard Brook Lopez. Like, that was a pretty odd choice by Eric Spoelstra. In all seriousness, Brook Lopez played so great. He was just really taking everything that was given to him, right place, right time. He had a few really good effort buckets too. On top of that, Drew Holiday looked back to normal. He looked like he was picking his spots very well. In the last video, I said that Drew Holiday looked kind of like lost, confused, tentative, and you know, in this game, he looked much more put together. He looked much more like he understood what he had to do. His actions had a lot more conviction to them. He knew when he had to score. He knew when he had to pass. He knew where to be on the floor. He wasn't so tentative and so hesitant with his actions. And even without Giannis, I mean, this Bucks team just shot the absolute lights out of the building. That play on the fast break where Joe Ingles came down and hit that deep three, he was like a foot and a half behind the 3-point line. Like, you know, I mean, Milwaukee was getting everything they want in the paint, behind the 3-point line. Chris Middleton played like a superstar last night. If this is gonna be the Bucks team, without Giannis, the Bucks could really take their time bringing Giannis back if this is how they're gonna play. But if you're Miami, you're not sitting in like the most horrible place. You got to split on the road, so you get to go back to Miami with home court advantage. But I still anticipate Miami. I still anticipate Milwaukee to win the series. But if Jimmy had another guy, like if he had another, and I like Bam. Bam is good. Don't get it twisted. Like, I like Bam. But if Jimmy had just like another, like a Bradley Beal type guy, like a shot creating superstar guard who could supplement his lack of 3-point shooting, if Jimmy just had like another dude to go to, I think this Heat team would be very good. This Heat team would be very, very deadly. But they, the Heat, they just don't shoot the three very well. And now, they're not going to have Tyler Hero, so their 3-point shooting is probably going to be even worse. Jimmy's really not known as a 3-point shooter. He can make threes, but he's not much of a 3-point shooter. And, Bam, obviously, he does all his damage, I would say, probably like 17 feet in from the basket. So, it's just a roster issue with Miami. It's just a roster construction issue. I wonder what they'll do. I think I kind of wondered out loud what Miami was going to do in the offseason on the last video as well, because Jimmy Butler, he needs help in Miami. Him and Bam, they both need help in Miami. Max Strus and Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, and these guys are just not getting it done. They're not terrible players, but they're not difference makers by any stretch of the imagination at this level of basketball. When you talk about playoff basketball, so yeah, the Bucks just lit it up last night, and they'll probably win the series. LeBron James looks really disinterested in playing basketball right now, and I don't know what it is. When I first started this channel in the play-in game, I think since the play-in game, I've just kind of been watching LeBron James go through the motion. Not even before that, even before the play-in game, even like when they had to play the Clippers to not be in the play-in game, and they ended up losing that game. And they were coming off a back-to-back that game, so I understand, but at the same time, it's just I really feel like I've just been watching LeBron James go through the motions, since that was 3 weeks ago. So for the past 3 weeks, the Lakers have been, they've been winning despite that. So I guess I can't, I don't really want to harp on it too much. But if you're the Lakers, last night, you're fully healthy, essentially. You have, LeBron James and AD is good. D'Angelo Russell is good. You've got a full squad. And you're already up 1-0 on the Memphis Grizzlies. And they're not going to have Ja. And you have a chance to take that game and go to LA up 2-1 and just essentially sweep the series and get rest. And you give up and you lose that game. You just come out and you play flat. The Lakers just played flat. Everybody seemed like they was just following LeBron's body language or lack thereof. LeBron just does not look engaged in I'm not even sure how to describe it. He just doesn't look like he cares. I don't know if that's too scathing of a critique of LeBron right now, but LeBron, I've always said that LeBron has a great sense of when a game is or when moments mean extra, oh shit, this is a really big point in this game. This is a really big point in the series right now. it's probably, time to turn it up like 3 or 4 notches. And like last night was a great game. Like if that was LeBron, if I was LeBron, I would have been telling everybody like, yo, this is a really important game. Like this is a really like this moment is gonna like decide. Like 3 months from now, we're gonna be thinking back on this moment. Like we need to really take advantage of like no Ja Morant. We're up 1-0. We have a chance to come out here, sweep the series, sweep the 2 games in Memphis, come back and finish the sweep in LA. And they just completely dropped the ball. I mean, LeBron James he wasn't terrible. And that's the thing about LeBron too over this stretch is it's not like he's been like terrible. He hasn't I haven't like looked at the numbers for it. Maybe I should have before I started on this diatribe, but like he hasn't been terrible. I'm not saying LeBron has been playing awful because it's not like he's been playing like shit, but also at the same time like it seems like there's no urgency. That's the word. It seems like there's no sense of urgency from LeBron, and then by proxy like the rest of the team, because obviously LeBron is the leader of that team. It just seems like nobody else is really playing with like urgency on the Lakers. Like everyone's just kind of like playing like it's a game in the middle of March or something, or it's a game like towards the end of October. Like it's just like another regular season game. Like I'll say again, that was a big opportunity that the Lakers lost. Like they had a chance. There's no Ja Morant. And don't get it twisted. Like obviously the Grizzlies they've proven that they could win games without Ja Morant. And they've proven that they can win playoff games without Ja Morant. But like if you're the Lakers, you have to look at that and you have to look at that opportunity last night and be like, oh my God, like we have a chance to go home up 2-0. Like we're the 7 seed. Like 2 months ago, nobody even thought we'd be in the playoffs. Like, or I mean, earlier in the season, nobody even thought we'd be in the playoffs. Like we're the 7 seed. We have a chance to go home up 2-0 on the second. Like it just seemed like there was a big opportunity that was lost there for the Lakers. LeBron, like I said, he didn't play particularly bad. I just think, AD didn't play particularly terrible either, but he also didn't play like out of his mind. AD's been pretty great on defense in this series. I just think last night the Lakers just came out flat. They just did not look like they gave a shit. I don't know. Maybe that is like kind of scathing criticism, but it just felt like from LeBron all the way down the roster, it's just like nobody was playing with any type of urgency. The Lakers they were kind of like loose with the ball. They didn't really talk on defense. Like the extra effort it didn't seem like it was there. And then you got Dillon Brooks. Yeah, I mean, Game 3 is gonna be LeBron needs to answer in Game 3. Like that needs to be the story for the Lakers in Game 3 because again he's been flat for like the past 3 weeks. He hasn't really had like a monster performance. Maybe necessarily doesn't even need to have like a monster performance stat wise, but he just has seemed really disengaged for the past 3 weeks, and there's been no urgency. And I think like hopefully for Lakers fans, Dillon Brooks talking all this shit will like wake LeBron up and be like, oh shit, I'm in like Game 3 in the middle of at the start of the playoffs, like but the Lakers they haven't really jumped off the screen to me this postseason yet. And like they are gonna just need to play better basketball defensively. I mean, like again, Anthony Davis has been great around the rim. The Lakers haven't been like piss poor, but it's just the Lakers have not been a team that when I look at them in the playoffs and I'm like, oh yeah, like they're not playing like Sacramento is like understands, like, we're in the middle of a playoff series with Golden State right now. Like, the Lakers are just kind of like sleepwalking through this. They've been kind of sleepwalking the past like 3 weeks. You know, I mean, even that playing game against Minnesota was just like, I don't know. I look at this team and I see potential for so much. Like, they got, I mean, obviously you got Bron and AD, two of the top 15 players in the league, whatever. But then you have D'Angelo Russell, you have Dennis Schroeder, Rui Hachimura has like emerged as like a competent role player. Austin Reeves has emerged as like a competent role player. Like, Vanderbilt is like, he's a really good like hustle guy. He's a good piece. Like, the Lakers, LeBron James has like a good roster right now, and everyone's healthy. And I feel like he's just like kind of squandering. I don't know. He hasn't squandered it yet, obviously, because it's 1-1 going back to LA. You know, if LeBron wakes up, if the Lakers wake up, you know, they can be up 3-1 on their way back to Memphis. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just look at this roster. I look at LeBron and I look at the rest of the roster, and I'm just like, dude, the Lakers should be up 2-0 right now, about to sweep the series. Like, we should be talking about how prolific the Lakers look. And we're just like, you got Dillon Brooks talking about, I poke bears. Dillon Brooks don't give a fuck. Like, I don't know. If you're a Lakers fan, I would be really fucking annoyed right now, because I'm not even a Lakers fan, and I was annoyed watching that game last night. Like, I don't know. I don't know how LeBron's going to respond. I don't know. He seemed really disinterested this entire month. It just hasn't seemed like he's really cared about what's going on. So, I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe the Dillon Brooks shit will wake him up, and, you know, because he's woken up. Because the rest of that team really goes with LeBron. Like, that, like, however LeBron is playing, however LeBron's doing, the body language, whatever, that team is going to follow LeBron. So, if LeBron wakes up, definitely the rest of the Lakers will wake up. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, normally, you know, you look at a 1-1. If you're the Lakers, you should be looking at a 1-1 split going back to your home and being like, oh, like, we're probably going to win the series. But I don't know. I don't know, especially if Ja is going to come back in this series. Like, I don't know if he will come back, but I don't know. The Lakers need to wake up. LeBron needs to wake up, because they get this is, I mean, LeBron is, he has not been playing up to the standards that he set for himself over the past fucking 2 decades. But I mean, that's all the thoughts that I have on on the second slate of game 2. The first slate of game 3s obviously look really good. We get to see Golden State and Sacramento headline that slate. So I know that game's gonna be so crazy, even with no Draymond. I know that game's gonna be so good. If you agree with what I had to say, drop a like and tell me why you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, let me know why you don't agree with me in the comment section below. And if you really, really like the content, if you really like what I'm doing, please hit subscribe, and obviously share the video in like your group chats or, you know, your sports discussion circles, whatever. It really helps, obviously, with the algorithm of the video. So I appreciate everybody that's taking the time to, you know, take time out of their day to listen to these videos. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good day.